Shalom, family.
Shalom.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
All right, good. So, how's everyone? Everyone, they had a good week?
Absolutely.
All right, beautiful. So, welcome to another Faithful Friday Sabbath Class, okay? So, and of course, we're going to continue reading our book of Ecclesiastes, or the book of Ecclesiastes. And we left off at the end of chapter 3, so now we're beginning chapter 4, okay? So let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 4, and let's get right into it with verse 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 1. So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun. How often do you do that? How often do you consider the different oppressions that are done? So, and don't think, even if you have righteous rulers, that you're um, not going to be in a space where there's just no oppression, even amongst that, because this is King Solomon, who's writing this. So, of course, he's king and he's trying to rule righteously, according to scriptures, and he had peace in his kingdom. But it doesn't mean that there still aren't oppressions. So, across various subsystems within a government and other sub leaders within that government. So don't think, there's omission of that. You can limit it, but those things can still be there across various spectrums. So now he said, all the oppressions that are done under the sun. And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed. So you see, when you're going through oppression, it's nothing that's comfortable. Right now, as a people, as a nation, we're being oppressed. So throughout the four corners of the earth, but one of the main areas is the United States of America, where we're being oppressed. So, and we're being not only in terms of just, okay, in some of the ways people might traditionally think, but there's a lot of systemic oppression, okay? Things that just is built into the fabric of this country and the judicial system that's set up, amongst other systems. So it says, and they had no comforter. So even if you look at our people, we lack that comfort, okay? And that comfort is twofold. One, that comfort is that Holy Spirit, which is something we lack as a whole, because in order to obtain that Holy Spirit, you have to first meet the prerequisite, which is righteousness. So that's a first part of that comforter. The second part is having comfort in terms of the having that protection of the Most High God, and having a power that's on your side that is going to be there to protect you. So in everything that comes, even the comfort that we have, that if we keep and apply these words, we can receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. So, which is the tree of life. And it says, and they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors, there was power. But still, as for us, but they had no comforter. So on the oppressor side, you see they have power. They're able to make things shake and move for themselves and their people. But yet and still, we're lacking in many ways. We're lacking strength, power. So, man, even as a people, we're lacking in virtue, especially as generations go on compared to previous ones. Verse 2. Wherefore I praise the dead which are already dead more than the living which are yet alive. Why? He goes on. 3. Yea, better is he than both they, which have not yet been, who have not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. So he says a couple of things here. The biggest thing is, he says, man, all praise for those who ain't had to go through this or don't have to deal with this, because it's bad to live through. It's uncomfortable to live through. It's uncomfortable to see. So that's a bad thing. So having to deal with everything you have to deal with in this life. So at least if you're dead, it's over with. Wherever you was at, hey, it's done now. And then shoot, he says, man, even for those who they ain't yet been born, even better for you to not have to go through the various evils that are upon the face of this earth. Sometimes it's like that. But yet, and that's even why some people may not desire to have families or children, because hey, this world is just wicked. I don't want to raise children in this wicked world. It's understandable. But we can't all be in that type of position or that type of space. Otherwise, our nation wouldn't continue. We still have to, even as the Most High command is in captivity, to still have children, raise families. As it says in the book of Jeremiah, so that we be not diminished in captivity. Because eventually captivity will come to an end. And we're nearing the end of this captivity, which is why we're trying to get right and help teach others to do the same. Verse 4, again, I considered all travail and every right work, that for this a man is envied of his neighbor. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. So he said, look, I considered everything it is we be going through, and even the stuff that, man, it's right, even the right stuff. But even for these things, you can still have people that envy you, even when you're doing the right thing. And that's even worse, because you think like, shoot, I'm trying to do what's right. Then there's still problems. It's like that in life. It's like that in this walk. The more righteous you try to become, the more people have a problem with you. You think you better than me? Oh, you just think you just so right. Oh, just so pro. Oh, you just never make a mistake. Man, I'm trying to do what the scriptures say to do and be better and do better. It's the same like with a diet. The moment you just eating regular, you good. The moment you go on a diet, everybody lose. That ain't part of that diet. I thought you said you was pescatarian. I thought you said you was vegan. I thought you said you were vegetarian. I thought you said you was paleo. So instead of being happy for you, that at least I'm trying to eat better, get myself together some kind of way, it causes more problems and stirs more strife than anything. To where it can have you ashamed of the diet you on, to where you got to sneak food and you back eating how you was eating before. Because feel like you didn't fail to cheat yourself out of your diet. Might as well just go back to what I was doing. So, but that's another story for another day, because it's about a lifestyle change. But even more so, as it's dealing with this, that man, like it says, even for every right work, that for this a man is envied of his neighbor. People, you're supposed to be close to your neighbors. Are close. Neighbors also your people. You're supposed to be close to, but yet and still, you're in a place, you're in a situation where there's others that aren't as content with you and your situation. There's evil spirits that are amidst, that are adverse to righteousness. So things that breed jealousy, resentment, emulation, which is unjust competitions and things of that nature. So those things are also vanity. It's vain, but it's also vexation of spirit. It's things that cause me to, man, I'm just longing for peace. I just want things to be straight. But yet there's an issue. Verse 5, the fool foldeth his hands together and eateth his own flesh. What does that look like? Well, of course, at first, like the fool foldeth his hands together, like this, and he eats his own flesh. When you're eating your own flesh, what are you doing? You're killing yourself. You're devouring yourself. You're destroying yourself. How? Because at times there's things that need to get done, but instead of you putting your hands to the plow, laboring, working, you decide to withdraw yourself. I ain't touching that. Yeah, people, nope, I ain't doing that. That's part of them folding their hands. And then, because they're not applying themselves when they should, a lot of times they're destroying themselves. We do all the time procrastination. When you procrastinate, you folding your hands, eating your own flesh. Because a lot of times it's things that you should be doing to sustain and take care of either you, your actual literal person, or those of close proximity to you, friends, family. But yet and still, instead of you aiding and building up your household, you're destroying it. Slowly but surely, eating your own flesh. So that's part of it. So now, let's go ahead and let's get verse 6. It says, better is a handful with quietness. This is another thing. This goes also to it, showing you in terms of building your home, building your family. Verse 6, it says, better is a handful, one hand, a handful, with quietness than both the hands full with travail and vexation of spirit. What's that saying? A lot of times we think having more is always better. If I just had a bigger house, more houses, a bigger car, a better car, more cars, it'll be better. That's not always the case. More doesn't mean, and that's what a lot of people, they think increase always means, that it's good. What are you increasing? And is it really good for you? Sometimes it's just stumbling blocks or things to destroy you. Like they say, more money, more problems, because there's more that you can look to do now that you have this, but that more that you're looking to do can get you caught up in other things that can destroy you. Whereas before, it was out of your reach. Now you can obtain that. So it becomes harmful for you. So we don't appreciate quietness. Another part that comes with quietness, you know what they say? With quietness, there's another word that oftentimes is attached to it. It starts with a P. Peace. A lot of times people want peace and quiet. A lot of times when you have quietness, peace comes along with it. Better to have a handful. I ain't got a whole lot, but I have peace, tranquility, peace and quiet. That's of great price. Then rather be in a situation where, shoot, I got two hands full, but I don't have peace. It's not worth it as much. Because guess what? After a while, with some of the tangible things, many of them, they start to grow dull and old. All that vibrancy starts turning gray over time. That's how you can have people that can have millions and still not be happy. You're not content. Still feel like you're missing some, still longing after other things, still vexed about different things. Or you have other issues because money only fixes money issues. It won't fix your spiritual issues. It won't fix all of your mental issues. It won't fix all your relationship issues. And some of those things, it only puts Band-Aids over wounds that need surgery. Temporary fixes, superficial fixes, not really addressing the root problem, just trimming a few of the branches and just kind of keep it back a little bit. But it's not really going to solve it. So, and this is something you have to really take heed to, that you might only have to discover later on. Some people have learned sense, some have bought sense. Some you could teach, others, they got to go through it, bump their head to understand. You want to be someone, I got to learn sense. I can understand how, even if I had a lot, if I ain't got peace, it ain't worth it. Whereas others, give me a lot, I'll take it. I'll shoot. Even if I ain't got peace, I got money. I got cars, clothes, jewelry, you name it. So, but it's not worth it. So, like I said, better is in handful with quietness. When you're comparing the two, compare and contrast, better as in handful, a little bit with quietness and peace, than both the hands full, you got a lot, but you got travail and vexation of spirit. So, verse 7, then I returned and saw vanity under the sun. It said, man, I look again, I'm seeing other things. These are things he's looking and seeing throughout the world and within his kingdom. Things he's seeing. Even things he's seeing amongst other nations. Then I returned and saw vanity under the sun. There is one alone, and there is not a second. I said, look, you got somebody like you just looking like, man, I see TJ, he be working hard all the time. He be like, yeah, man, I'm just trying, I'm on my grind, I'm on my hustle, I'm trying to get this, get this paper, get this bag. If you ain't got the bag, you looking sad. You got people like, dang, okay, TJ. Let's read on. It says, yea, he hath neither child nor brother. Some of you say, why is that relevant? Or why are you in his business? What? That's his life. Well, let's get an understanding. Yet is there no end of all his labor. Neither is his eyes satisfied with riches. Neither saith he, for whom do I labor and bereave my soul of good? This is also vanity. Yea, it adds on. Not just is it vain, it says, yea, it is a sore travail. Why? Because you have people, especially in this day and age, that they feel as if they got to grind and hustle all the time, to where if you see them, if they continue that lifestyle, like they start grinding away. They start deteriorating. You start seeing it in their face. Man, you just look like you've been working all the time. So you look drained. You ain't even enjoying life. Just chasing money to accumulate more. But for what? If you're in a situation, you get shot tomorrow, get in a car accident tomorrow, was it worth it? Because at the end of the day, who are you leaving this all to? Who's going to inherit this? What legacy are you building for who? What's the game plan? It's different if someone has a situation, oh yeah, I'm building this, man, because I have to pass this down to my kids. Or you know what? I need to build this because my mom's is sick in the hospital. Why are you doing this? You're just doing it just to do it. And guess what? Are you really in a space where you have a good balance between, like I say, work-life balance? Are you able to be in a situation where you can enjoy some of this? You got people who poor companies 20, 30 years, no vacation. Never took a vacation. I worked. Man, that's sad. That's not happy. The job, they'll feel happy because guess what? If you're there, they're making money. If you're there, they don't want you to take days off because days off, you're not there. Work is piling up or things aren't being done up to standard the way they would like if you're not there. But guess what? You find out most of them jobs don't care about you. You see story after story where I've seen it. Brother worked faithfully. One brother, he worked at Walmart, another McDonald's. You had brothers who didn't take breaks, didn't take vacations and things of that nature, worked consistently, no calling off, and they don't even give them a proper reward for their labor. Give you something petty, like a $20 gift card. Thank you. For real, like they do stuff that it doesn't merit. But again, you're doing it all for their benefit. I was going to say, if they have need of you, they'll use you. But when you have nothing, get your way. We don't need you. So, and it's same with another sister. She was working at a janitor for a school for something 15 years, 20 years, no breaks. And she had a situation where she needed a break because she asked for bereavement time because I think either her spouse died or something like that. Her husband died or something like that. And they fired her for taking that time off. So after years of working with that company, sad. Man, take your days off, enjoy your time. So fight for that time because, man, it's you will work yourself to death. So you don't want that. Same thing, people grinding away. Man, you can go without having to make as much as it is you trying to grind to make. or scale down your living. You'll be all right. Or move to another city. So you can better accommodate yourself and not have to work as hard. So enjoy your life and also spend some of that time with friends and family. Be an aid unto others. Help others and build some of those social connections. So get to know, some of your other friends and family members. Spend some time with them. Things of that nature. So that's why it says, with all this is also vanity. Yeah, it is a sore travail. Let's get verse 9. Verse 9. 2 are better than 1. Even this is still dealing with the family unit. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. So in anything, really. So, but especially in the family dynamic, 2 are better than 1. Why? Like I said, because they have a good reward for their labor. It even continues to give on, in terms of that. It speaks more on it. Verse 10. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. So guess what? If you have a situation where, if you got 2, if one falls, the other can be there to help catch that one, support that one. It doesn't matter if they fall physically or if one is falling and failing psychologically, mentally. I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm stressed, I'm angered, that other person give comforting words. I could be their support. So doesn't matter if you're going off spiritually. Then guess what? You have someone there who can help you. Because, hey, what you doing, bro? What you doing, sis? Hey, we got to do this. You have that help and support. So 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But it says, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. He said, man, it's a bad thing if you alone. It's a bad thing. So it's a bad thing if you're alone. Why? Because you don't have any help or support. It's a bad thing. You want help. You want support. We all need it. Everyone in this walk, I don't care from the greatest to the least of us, no matter what position you're in, no matter what congregation, everyone in this walk will eventually reach a point in time when they are weak. And usually it'll be more than once in this walk. Why? Because this walk comes with so much, like the scriptures deal with. The trials of the righteous are many. Through much affliction will the righteous enter the kingdom of God. Through much. And those things, you're going to have times when you're either, and people may lean to different ones. Some people, they may be more quick to anger, frustration. Others may be quick more to sorrow, depression. But you're going to have different times. You're going to need someone there to help you, or times when you're battling other vices. Even Christ got weak. You read, a lot of the strong men in the scriptures got weak at times. So whether unto tears or whether unto, unto sin. And they fell short in some areas due to them being in a vulnerable place or weak space. You need help and support. So, and that help and support doesn't always be, I'm single, I'm not married, It doesn't always have to come in the form of a spouse, come in the form of a friend. So someone that's just going to be there to support, someone I can call when I'm going through something. You need that help. Like I said, friends and family. You need it. So now, verse 11. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat. Now, it's saying again. Now, in another respect, even having 2 is a spousal type relationship. Because, hey, if 2 lie together, skin is gay. They get some warmth. You get that extra cozy comfort. That's some covered after. There's something they want. That's all right to want it. Just go about it in a righteous way. So it says, but woe to him that is alone. Again, if 2 lie together, verse 11. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? So dealing with that, it's a little harder alone. So it's easier to bundle next to a warm person. It'd be like a little heater next to you, or a big heater, whoever bigger or smaller. So big spoon, little spoon. Some people like cozy comfort. But the situation say, hey, how can one keep warm alone? So yeah, it's all right if you want that. Now it says 12. And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. And in that situation, if you have a situation where one is overcome in a situation, guess what? The other can be there as a defense. Husbands can be there as a defense to their wives. Wives can be there as a defense to their husbands. Could you have that? The scripture even deal with that. Having a woman that can speak those peaceable words unto her husband and help him when he's down, and not be someone that, man, you just cause strife and turmoil to him, and you just full of words. God, what you mean you tired? You just got it. And it's like, oh, man, I'm already going through. I got to come home and hear this. It's much better, much easier if you have, all sorts of situations. Man might be looking for a job consistently. Might not be able to find work, and it's been a week or two. You can start feeling like, man, I'm looking, just not getting nothing. You don't need a woman with, shoot, you need to look harder. You ain't looking, you just, you want someone to confident words who, man, it's all right, babe. I know the Most High gonna find it eventually. Like, you might need that. He's already trying. Don't pour water on a drowning man. You try and help him, or say, hey, let me try to help you. Fine. Let me check out other sources over here, because it's the pride in search of the honor as a man to want to provide for my family, want to make sure my family's good. And I feel like I'm failing at that. Like, I'm not able to do that, but I'm trying. That can be a wound to a man that can cause him to feel less than a man. Just like with some women, if I'm supposed to be someone the keeper of the house, or I'm supposed to be the builder of the family, and if I can't have children, in my womb, or it's like, man, I feel like I'm less than a woman. Trying to have kids and I can't, or I lose them. Get one and baby always dying on me. That can be hard for a woman. Not just, shoot, you probably just wicked as hell. That's probably what it. You had other sisters that were barren, like Sarah. So you can have others that are barren. She wasn't the only one. You had other sisters too throughout the scriptures. So that, bearing a situation like that. But so it doesn't always necessarily mean so it's just wicked as hell. Sometimes you're being tested or tried. And other times, life is lifing. But the Most High can come through with you. But you need that comfort and support at times. Not the person who should be there in your corner. You feel is stoning you, and throwing verbal stones like, man. And you don't have peace in your home. Again, back to that peace. Better to have one hand full with quietness, and you get that peace, than to have two hands. We got this, but no peace. I can't even go to my spouse in time of need. That's bad. That's a bad feeling. You don't want that. Well, again, verse 12. And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. If you're going through things out that one, maybe that's that one thing. Maybe it's that job. Maybe it's that coworker. Maybe, it's that neighbor. Maybe it's that friend down the street. And I just need that one to be able to help me through this. My spouse, my friend, to help me through this. Your spouse will be closer than a friend, like the scriptures say. A companion and friend rarely meet amiss, but above them both is a man with his wife. Man. And it says on, and it says, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. And yeah, that's actually something that like they say, two is better than one, and even the scripture says even threefold is better. And yeah, that even still get in contact with a marriage, because if done righteously, a polygynous marriage is something that can be successful. So no different than with any other marriage. Just like you have people's high divorce rate with just monogamous marriage. Yeah, but a lot of them aren't being done righteously. The people lean into their own understanding or doing what they want to do, and it's not working out. Not that it can't, but it's because you have people who aren't sticking to the script. And the moral and civil code and compass is getting poured down the drain. So, but you have it, like I said, threefold cord is not quickly broken. Because you got to choose the right person, not just any person. Some people, they problems a mile away. But choosing the right person can help better build your family, because now we can structure things accordingly. And everyone's situation looks different. It's not cookie cutter. You may have it to where it's like, all right, man, hey, I work, I provide, and I'm able to sustain and support these sisters. And these sisters, one of them takes care of the children and focuses on the children, while the other one takes care of the home, and does the cooking and things. Hey, that's fine if that works for you and your family. Another may say, oh, I have it, man. My one wife works full time, brings in most of them. Another wife, she works part time, deal with the kids, and then I don't work, man. I help, with the kids, and other than that, I help with the ministry. If that's how your household is ran, and there's peace in your home with that, then so be it. So what works for one may not work for another, and it's also seeing what caliber of woman did you marry. For those women, what caliber of man did you marry? Because that can determine if something may or may not work. Is there peace in your home? Does that work? Are they content? If they're not, then you have problems. So, and make sure you didn't get into any situation through deception or beguiling. That's not of the spirit, or lying, or whatever else, or moving any other kind of way. So, the threefold cord is not quickly broken. So now verse 13, it says, better is a poor and a wise child than an old and foolish king who will no more be admonished. What is that dealing with? You have situations, and I'll get that too. I think it's actually worth getting that in Strong's Concordance. Admonished. That comes from H2094. Zahar, a primitive root to glean, figuratively to enlighten by caution, admonish, shine, teach, give, or warn, or warning. So admonishment is a level of me warning someone, teaching someone, and it's better to have a poor. And this is actually where certain sayings that come from the Bible, where somebody said it. It may have been George Washington Carver or Booker T. Washington or someone else in a similar regard, that said it's better to groom and raise up, children than to try to reteach or groom, broken men or adults and things of that nature. And this is where that generally comes from, what you're reading from the scriptures. Better as a poor and wise child, better to be able to, deal with that child who may be poor. You look at them, well, man, they coming from the bottom, they just a kid. But you see, even it lets you know, you can have some children that can become wise, especially wise and mature for their age. But some of you say, man, that kid pretty knowledgeable. That kid, they have a good understanding. Not just knowledgeable, not just they just know stuff, but they have a good understanding. They have actually some wisdom behind it, because not just they just memorize they multiplication chart, but they actually have an understanding of things and how things work, or how to deal with certain matters. That's good. It says, man, better is that kid. I could rock with that. Then you have a king. You think, dang, that's the king. But the king is foolish. And the king is in a place or has put himself in a place to where either because of his authority or position or where he's at or his age. That's another one. We feel like we get 30, 40, 50, 60. Feel like nobody can tell us nothing. We beyond reproach or correction. That becomes even harder. Because now if I can't correct you, then it becomes that much more difficult to deal with you. Because you could be dead wrong. What you're doing is bad or unwise or destroying your family or destroying the kingdom, destroying, you got leaders, destroying the congregation. And if you can't be corrected by that, by anyone, your spouse, your kids, your co-leaders, your subordinate leaders, that's sad, that's bad. Because you're end up destroying yourself and taking others with you. And when comparing that, when you have a king, leader, or ruler, president, governor, who won't be corrected, you can't work with, that's like a Nabal, that's a niggard or churlish, that's difficult. That is difficult. It's stressful. So, and it's doomed to cause some type of destruction. It's better to deal with a kid that they don't have any title, they don't have any position, but they have some wisdom. I can work with them because I can help build them to be not only capable of being in one of those slots, but being better than those that have previously served. Now look, you may not be ready for this right now, but 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, hey, we're going to make sure you're ready to turn this in a better direction. That's why don't sleep on your own children. You can see your children as a blessing, or you can see them as a curse. They always need something, always eating up everything, got to feed them. Your child can be the very thing that helps put you and your family in a better position. And nowadays, you read so many stories about your forefathers and foremothers and dealing it. Your child can be a big help to the helping and aid to the gathering of the people and help to save his people. And so definitely being you in this day and age, you don't know who you're raising. Spirits come back through regeneration. So you never know who it is you're raising. You could be raising a Judith, Susanna, Esther, Deborah. So you never know. You could be raising Jeremiah, Isaiah, even a Tobit. You never know. So it says, reading on, verse 14, for out of prison he cometh to reign, whereas also he that is born in his kingdom becometh poor. So now part of that is dealing with what it was dealing in verse 13. But it's also making mention of other things as well. For out of prison he cometh to reign. Partly because when you have a child that's poor, being in poverty, it separates you so much so to where it's like you're separated almost by an invisible iron bar. That I'm stuck kind of in this prison, kind of like redlining. Yeah, I'll stay over there. But out of yet, this destitute place, this low place, prison is a low place, destitute place, usually in a place that you kind of hidden and tucked away. I say it's kind of being poor, especially the more poor you are. Ain't nobody really thinking about you, but yet out of that state, you come to reign. That's actually also giving the testament to others like David. David was poor. And he was just not even, just a little shepherd boy. Compared to where he's at in terms of being a king. So, whereas also he that is born in his kingdom becometh poor. You can have that. You've had other kings of even the northern southern kingdom who you have a situation that they were born into rulership, but yet and still there were times where you read about betrayal. Kings of the northern kingdom getting put to death by others, and then guess what? Now your family kicked out. Now you poor. So now you're in a different situation. Or you also have a situation where you have a leader, because they're not leading as well, that guess what? Whereas we should have been in a better situation in building, we're declining. So you would think being born or being in this kingdom would mean I'm in a better state. But instead, because the king is wicked, the leader is wicked, or the government isn't going right, we're ending up falling into a more impoverished state. You have that as well. So verse 15, I considered all the living which walk under the sun, with the second child that shall stand up in his stead. So now, that's heavy. It says, I considered all the living which walk under the sun, with the second child that shall stand up in his stead. Meaning what? You're there. You're that first. Second is the one that comes after you. Your child that shall stand in where you at. Meaning what? I'm watching and seeing some of these family dynamics. And seeing that, dang. Boy, that man, you see, yeah, I see him, who that, man? That's Tyshawn. Dang. Feel sorry for him. What, man? His mama just ain't got it together. He gonna have a hard time trying to figure out life. Things like that he's seeing. Hey, who that be? Oh, man, that's Marquise. Man, his daddy just can't get right. Who's that? Hey, that's TJ. Dang. Yeah, I heard, his mom be out on the street. She be hoeing. Something you see just, it's just seeing where they at and where their parents at. So that's why I said, with the second child that shall stand in his stead, what are you providing for that child? What are you giving them to set them up for success? How the situation? And of course, it becomes multiple things. So in verse 16, and of course, things could be good as well. You could see others that, okay, what's up with Marquita? Hey, man, I heard she doing pretty good. Her mom opened up a beauty salon and, things. And, man, I think she going to be all right. You have that, too. It ain't always bad. But it's just you're observing those things. You're seeing how those things are turning out. The biggest thing is really just considering after you, that person coming behind you, what position are they going to be in? And the scriptures speak more about that throughout as well. 16. There is no end of all the people, even of all them that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. So, why is it saying that? Part of it is still segueing from 15. Meaning what? People, they keep coming upon this earth. They keep having. You keep seeing what was done before is being done now. This is yet and still, even though all those been, is still more people. But it said they also that come after should not rejoice in him. Because that deals with that second child shall stand up in his stead. At the end of the day, we would like to think every child that is born is a blessing. But like the scriptures deal with, menstruous woman shall bring forth monsters. Some people's kids is not a blessing. It's a curse. It'll destroy you. Like even the judgment of the Most High on day, because of what the sin you did, I'm going to bring trouble out of your own household. Some of them kids was not to his blessing, but to his detriment due to his sin. Some of them kids, it's to your detriment. And not only to yours, starts hurting others in the nation. You raised a monster. That's why I said, they also that come after should not rejoice in him. Some people, they're not going to rejoice in your kid, your seed. You left a bad thing behind you that's standing up in your stead. You left something worse. Some people have that. Yeah, you was bad, but your kid is worse. So no matter what you're doing, you thought the daddy was abusive. Wait till you see your son. You thought the mama was a hoe. Wait till you see her daughter. Bad. You don't want that. So ain't nobody gonna rejoice. It says, surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. Because you would think each generation would get better. That's not always the case. You have to fight to make each generation better. You have to build each generation. It ain't kids left to themselves. It ain't gonna work that way. You can't just put a tablet in front of them. All right, go live. Go be good. That ain't the way it works. Let's start at I'll begin chapter 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 1. It says, keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God. Why? In what way? And be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. That's a big one. Keep thy foot, meaning what? Watch how you step and watch how you moving. It says, when thou goest to the house of God. The house of God today is whenever you go in a congregation, church, school, be mindful and be ready in a space to listen and hear than to, yeah, but I got a question. So you mean to tell me, people always want to do that. So what you saying is, or they always have a comment. That was the Pharisees with Christ. They always had a question, but it wasn't a sincere question. They trying to test the teacher. I just want to see how much you know. Well, you see how much I know through the things that I teach you. Watch the classes. But you want to challenge. To hopefully make the teacher seem like a dunce, seem dumb or confounded. So in that way, you confound him. Oh, I didn't know that. Shame on me. To big up yourself, I got him. And then gather people, dang, he stumped the teacher. Can't believe he didn't know, but he does. We should follow him. People that go, they look for that. They're out there. So some people look for that. But here's the thing. Just because that person may not have known that doesn't mean overall they're a bad leader. And just because you may have known the answer to that doesn't mean overall you're a good leader. You could be knowledgeable and not be a good leader. You could be a good leader, but not be as knowledgeable. Because there's many facets that make up the graph or chart when it comes down to being a good leader. So, now, which people have to be aware of. But the sacrifice of fools, folly is known through your words. You're able to see if one is reasoning or speaking foolishly or wisely. Verse 2, that's why it goes to this. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart, meaning your mind, be hasty, you're quick, to utter anything before God. Why is it saying this? For our people be so quick. Man, God, you just help me out through this, man. I promise, man, I just won't do that. You quick to hasty and promise thing that you probably gonna mess around and do next week. And the Most High just might call you out on it. Well, you said. All right, I ain't helping you out this time. We do that. And a lot of times for foolish stuff that just be dumb, don't even be righteous. We hoping Most High God just take us out, help us. Take us out of the situation. So, be not rash with thy mouth. Meditate. Think about what it is you're going to say. What it is you're asking for. What it is you're trying to talk. That's both before God and before man. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before God. Why? For God is in heaven, and thou upon earth. That means things are multiple, not just in terms of the honor given unto the Creator, but also that you got to understand, you're still living in this world. God can do anything to you. You get hit with anything. This body is subject to so many bad things that can happen. Like I said, 1,000 ways to die, right? Or get hurt or get judged. Stuff that it ain't even got to be fatal. Something be a slow death. Or just things that you in pain for a long time. Chronic. sicknesses, chronic pains. It's like, man, you better be careful. God might call your bluff. So therefore, let thy words be few. Learn to say more through saying less. Lest I say the wrong thing. You ever get some people, they get to talk, but then after a while they get to saying the wrong thing they talk to me. You don't want to be like that. So that's some on the extreme end, but you don't even want to be on the moderate level. So lest you say the wrong thing before the Most High. Verse 3 is another thing. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business. It said, hey, like some people, hey, man, I be getting dreams all the time. A lot of times those dreams have things in conjunction or connection with what's going on in your life or what you're doing that's causing the dream. You even play certain things on the TV, you start dreaming about it. So things that can be going on around you. So a dream coming through the multitude of business. And a fool's voice is known by multitude of words. A lot of times you're going to know someone who lacks wisdom, lacks a certain level of understanding or knowledge because of what they speak and what they're talking about. You try to boast yourself up, make it seem as if you know a lot and your talk is good, but there's not as much action behind it. So there's not as much fruit to substantiate it. Oh yeah, I've and it's on different levels. Oh yeah, I've read the Bible like 3 times. I've mastered. I'm done with that book. I'm on to the next thing. So yeah, I've read it cover to cover. I've outgrown that. So how you sound right now? Foolish. So people do it with all sorts of stuff. I don't know. I can't do the marriage thing. I don't need somebody telling me what to do and try to. All right, you start sounding foolish. So God said it's good. Man, I don't need a nagging woman trying to tell me what to live my life and what I gotta do. And all right, you can start sounding foolish. And sometimes them be the same people next month be married. Man, I thought you was talking about. Man, I know, but I just met the right. You sounding foolish. Be convenient in the moment. You be having people, you were just married. What you talking about? You ain't been divorced 3 months. Change up their tune when it's convenient. So, but now, it said a fool's voice is known by multitude of words. Verse 4, because all of this is still connected to even where we started, even up to verse 2. Verse 4, when thou vowest a vow, when you saying vowing a vow is particular, okay? Everything you say you're going to do is not a vow. The scriptures speak of that in, Christ speaks on it. Let your yeas be yeas and your nays be nays. If any more cometh evil. If you say you're going to do something, do it. But don't try to do that, man, I promise, I swear. Don't do that. If you're going to say you're going to do it, do it. If you're not, then not. Okay, everything you say and do ain't a promise or a vow. You said you're going to do it, that's a vow. That ain't a vow. Vows are specific. Vows are promises, things you're saying and promising that you are going to do. The difference between me saying, I'll probably take the trash out today, and I didn't do it, I forgot, no harm, no foul. But you say, oh man, I promise I'm going to take it out today, man, I promise you. And you ain't do it, now there's a harm there. Because you made an oath. You made a vow. You promised that you was going to do something. You didn't do it. So that's a problem, okay? But now what this is saying is dealing with vows and promises that you make to the Most High, which our people love to do. Man, God, I swear. Man, God, I promise. You help me with this, you do that. On my mama, rest in peace. That'd be our people. On my kids. No, don't do that. Most High might call you out. And he's done that for others in the scripture with judges. You read the book of Judges, you read that. So it said, and it lets you know, when thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it. Don't be like you didn't say it, and now you ain't going to fess up or own up. For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. You better pay that fine. Otherwise, you might not be able to bail out of that. Most High takes that serious if you choose to play that card. So you choose to play that card. Verse 5. Better is it, listen to this, it says, better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Let you know, look, better to don't promise nothing. It's letting you know. People say, man, I don't promise nothing. You're just afraid to promise. Man, the scriptures say, better. You have to choose between making a promise on something and not making a promise on something. Choose don't make the promise on it. Man, I'll get this for you. I can't make no promises, but man, I'm going to try. That's wise. Instead of you trying to play the card, man, I can't get it. I'm going to promise. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you. Get it to you tomorrow, and you forgot. Then your word becomes null and void. It don't matter no more. You done proved yourself now deemed untrustworthy, dishonorable to some. Like, hey, as the saying goes, man's word is his bond. Your word is supposed to be worth something. Well, you disannul it if you can't keep it. It becomes of no value. Verse 6, suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. That happens. You didn't say some stuff that it on vows and even other stuff that you didn't said you was going to do or said was good, and it ain't good. It ain't right. You got to be careful. That now puts you in a place to sin. Things you didn't say it. There are a number of sins you do by this. A lot of problems they call sowing of discord is a lot of time through this. Sowing of discord. Tale-bearing. Murmuring. A lot of those things is through this, through your words. You're sinning, causing problems, causing strife. Causing strife and contentions with this. Learn how to rule this. You be very wise. Brother or sister. Congregant or leader. There's control you have to have on all levels. So, neither say thou before the angel that it was an error. Don't be, I didn't mean to say that. It just slipped. No. Just close your mouth. Sometimes just don't even mix up your prayer. Just after this manner, therefore, pray ye. Our Father, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Father, you know, like the scripture says, you know our needs before we even come to you. It's in the spirit. Neither say before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should God be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thine hands? Most High be angry hearing you. Who got a prayer for me? Oh, heck no. I ain't dealing with him. I ain't dealing with her. They still owe me from another stuff they said they was going to do. Verse 8. It says, I'm sorry. Verse 7. For in the multitude of dreams and many words, there are also divers vanities. But fear thou God. It said, look, people be having dreams all the time. It said, look, most of the dreams, there's a lot of stuff that it has no relevance. Man, yesterday I dreamed it was a fish swimming in the ocean, and then it jumped into the stars, and then I had another dream, and it was like a dog chasing a cat, and I don't know where the cat went. Then another dream, it was like a bird that was flying in the sky, and then it flew into the ocean, and just, bruh, what are you talking about? I'm trying to see what it all means, and it's like, most of that probably don't mean nothing. Yes, you can have dreams of relevance, but those relevant dreams, they'll stand out and you just keep them in mind. And they may come to pass a day, a week, a month, even others a year later, others maybe 5 years later. All right, keep it in mind. But all of them aren't relevant. Some of it is Satan just trying to lure you away to see if you'll start believing every dream you have. Some of them, Most High, just testing you to see, all right, I just want to see if you'll follow me more than the dream. That's why I said, but fear God. If it lines up with scriptures, we can deal with it. If it don't, then we got to either throw it out or set it to the side and keep it in mind. And then let's focus on this. I said, but fear thou God. So, like I said, there's also there's a lot of vanities and falsehoods in that. Same with a lot of words. Many words, there be stuff, you be people, oh, baby, I love you. I'll do this for you. I'll be this kind of man. I'll make sure you're taken care of. And there's a lot of stuff you just be blowing smoke. Sisters too. Oh, yeah, I cook. I'm humble. I try to, do good. I got great discernment too. And probably don't learn a lot of the stuff. Or not as well as what the scriptures say you should. It's at the end of the day, focus on just fearing the Most High and being right by Him. But we made it through half of Ecclesiastes chapter 5, and we'll pick it up, Most High permit, next week. But with that, I'll go ahead and pray all of you, learn something, got something out of this. And I'm Brother Yatab with Sound Faith Ministries. And with that, I'll say shalom.